Let's go ahead and get started, and pretty light agenda for tonight, just so that everybody does realize, and if you would spread the word, that next month's meeting is the business meeting where we do elections, set policy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we need a good turnout for that, if you please. So, first on the agenda, reports. Mark sent out his P&L. Any questions?
Is that gonna be on the second?
First Monday of
Second.
December,
Yeah.
whatever that is. Is it the second?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Appears to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've also invoiced all the clubs, so hopefully we'll start getting some money soon.
Okay.
And called all the people who are delinquent. I don't know that Cheyenne Rugby's ever gonna pay.
I doubt it.
Breckenridge is probably not gonna pay. I wrote off the 300s that Tigers owes us. And, but those clubs will not get referees until they pay.
Exactly.
So, don't plan on going to the massacre next year, guys.
Yeah, well, exactly. Okay, recruiting. Any report?
We have 4 ready to take the L1 next year. I got 2 guys that are actually certified already certified, that are ready to go next spring too. So.
What have they done?
One's a grad student at Mines, who's currently going to be not doing anything after that.
Brandon over
Is that the kid we
there?
saw?
Brandon?
He's from the L1 class last time. It's a different guy.
Oh, another guy.
Another guy that's actually certified already. He roughed out at East. And then some guy that emailed, one of the Dylan guy that
4
emailed
chairs in the
me,
kitchen,
forwarded
guys.
an email.
Right.
He's already taken the L2,
Oh, okay.
but he'll have time next spring, he said.
Okay.
In contact.
Good. Tim, any word on match assignments?
There's really only one main weekend left. I want to call it a main weekend, which is this weekend. There are a few games. High school finals will be assigned tomorrow. Still talking with the coaches of the high school teams to see who they want to referee. And then essentially we're wrapped up. So Coben come to his coaching appointment on the 16th. That's the other bit of good news.
Okay.
So Stevie by yourself unless we find somebody else.
Great.
Who are the high limit, by the way?
Denver firefighters.
Who's doing the game at Glendale? With them and Rush? Owen's doing it, never mind. I
Yes.
don't have any contact information for him.
I'll get you.
Can you park up there?
Yeah.
Like, go to Bill and
It's Jerry Bixby.
Alright.
Okay, all right. For the report. Mark, you wanted to go through off-season fitness?
Yeah. So who has a plan of what they're gonna do for the off season? Okay. Who wants a plan? Okay.
Wow.
I mean, I have one of those.
You just bought my new kettlebell.
Has everyone got a goal where they wanna be? I mean, the people who potentially are gonna get national assignments need to take a fitness test in the next 2 months. Yeah, we didn't do very much this season for fitness, and please email me and we'll come up with a plan, but, get out and run on the treadmill.
Mark, do you wanna go ahead and set a date where we're gonna do the beat in January? Or whatever the date is? That way people have a target to.
Not the same weekend as the.
Well, it's up to you guys. I mean, it's really up to you guys, cause we all have to take it in February, so.
Well, I just say maybe before 7s in case people are going out to referee 7s in Vegas at all. Anybody going to the LBI or the other stuff?
Okay, I will, yeah, let's.
Well, there's also one in Atlanta. Are we sending anybody to that one? They're doing.
What do you mean by 7?
There's.
Women's sevens is the
The
weekend
Internet
before.
ILB women's sevens.
There's also a
Yeah, and
event
they wanna do a tournament like what Vegas does outside the
LBI?
stadium.
Okay.
Well,
They
there'll
may
be
be
a,
sending out invitations to that. so-
there'll be a women's development camp, so if we wanna send any women.
Anybody know?
I know that invitation hasn't gone out for that, but I would imagine, or if we will wanna send Kasha out.
When is it?
In
Valentine's Day
February,
weekend,
or in January?
Is it Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day week, 14th or
So
15th.
that,
15th and 16th.
That's fine.
so they just switch dates, so that, because the IRB's what, the 25th?
They moved the men's earlier because of the NBC Winter Olympics, and then they moved the women's later because of the men's, so.
Sometime in.
So to answer your question, Kurt,
Nice, Kurt.
is when do you guys all wanna take it? Like, do you wanna do it before Christmas? Or do you wanna not eat very much at Christmas and worry about it?
I think before Christmas is pretty long before the season. If you wanna do one before Christmas, just to give us a starting point, and then
Yeah.
one in
January 11th?
January, February.
Isn't that
Because
when
the-
we're at level two?
I thought level 2 is the 18th.
What about the level one though?
What is it? Oh, those are on consecutive weekends?
Level one, it will be the third weekend in February.
Okay. Do you have all the instructors for
Well,
that yet?
people that are going to level one and teaching level one will not be taking the fitness test anyway.
We should
Is
give the fitness
February
test at
22nd
level
too
one,
late?
For
for the
you.
people taking level one.
Why not?
Thunderdome.
Welcome to referee. 10-minute no men leave.
Yeah, and then you scare them away.
Charlie, do you have all the instructors for that level one?
I get like 2 people that actually run a little bit.
Not really.
Alright, so
Assuming
January
it
11th?
Is that the level 2?
I thought that was the.
I think that's the level 2 course.
I don't know.
I
You'll
believe
be
the
doing it
level
on the
two
level
is
two,
January
right?
11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should.
I think they'll be doing one at the level two, so you just all go to that one, when that level
Where
two
is level two?
test.
Is it Glendale?
Nah, I think it's.
I know, I believe it's at Bob's office.
What'd you say?
It's
Maybe
11.
switch them.
So we can run it in the lobby?
January.
No,
Yes,
switch
well,
them and do it at Glendale.
do the beat test. Have you been there? Yeah. Run in the atrium.
Our old Joe's putting that one on, so I'll talk to him.
Executive decision. Give me a rundown. So we need to run level two. We're gonna do it on the gym or the field, barring snow.
So planning on doing the beep test on January 11th at the level two.
Yeah.
Are you going now?
There.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna do this January.
The night after.
Okay,
Is it the hack or the gym?
moving on. As everybody knows, we did the survey. Thank you very much for all your responses. We got a lot of good responses, so. Marsh, you wanna go through this?
Summary.
Yeah, summary.
Summary of the summary.
The
Do
executive
we attend
summary.
meetings, why or not? That's pretty, just general question. A lot of people travel, work. They like to come to meetings when they can. A lot of negative responses at meetings, people feel to kind of talk down to a little bit and like to talk to hear themselves talk, and just, it's something we will work forward to eliminating when we get down to level 10, that's question 10. A lot of people like the talking about law and situational items, and they like the practical sessions, and they also like camaraderie of it. A lot of people, for the second question, the monthly video reviews and practical sessions, fitness sessions. Probably going forward, we'll maybe do a monthly video session, and we'll just have it at people's houses, like one weekend we'll do it at Coburn's, or one night we'll do it at Coburn's, and then we'll do it at my house, or we'll go to Tim's, or whoever has enough room and like to do it. And if we can get some of our guys on video, because we have this camera here, so maybe you guys, if you're not doing anything on a weekend, you don't have an assignment, we can, hey, I want to video someone, come grab the camera and I'll pay you $25 to go video someone. You know, that way we can have more video on more of our referees, put it on YouTube and break down their sessions. Also, all you gotta do is just call me up and say, hey, could try and find someone to video my game, and we'll put out an email out. I mean, we're all in that Google group, so if Steve's got a game this weekend and it's the only game on, just send out an email, can someone video my game? You know, and that's not the only camera in the world either, so.
Do you keep that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
It's generally with the executive.
It's about, we bought the old one, with the intent of hiring a guy to do it, like an old referee like Dave Woodley, and he would go out every weekend and just pick them, and it never really worked out. So, we should at least do that, get back into that. I think that's not a bad thing. If you're not doing anything, you want $25.
Does anyone live in like a nice building in Denver perhaps that would have like a big projector or lots of seats? I know my old building had that. I don't know if anyone, no? Nobody lives in like a big building?
Well, I mean, as in,
We can always,
we have I have a conference room, conference room that's bigger than this, and you can blow it out on
Okay.
a wall.
we can always go to Glendale and do it there too. I mean, the thing is to move it around, not always have to have people from the Springs drive here. And I have to have Robert drive here and go to Coburn's one night, you know.
I also think that if you've got some video you want to review with somebody, ask someone to come around. You know, it doesn't have to be a set thing with 25 referees in the room. If you just want to go through your video with Mark, Mark's got loads of time, so.
Not anymore. Derek.
Vice Zone Manager.
Okay, I have another question about that. For you guys that have radios, do you feel personally attached to them, or are you okay with people asking to borrow them?
I feel personally attached to them because I don't like loaning them because they don't come back in the state I gave them out in. So.
I'm happy to give you mine because they no longer work.
Deal.
So we have some
But I'd be happy to do it, you know, I mean,
So we have some sets here of kind of junk strapped together, and I'll be upfront, it's junk strapped together, but if you wanna use them, usually you can piece a couple together and they'll work for, you know, just that one game. But they're gonna be thrown away likely over the course of the next couple of months if not. So if you wanna use radios, although they're not the highest quality ones, it does give you, they'll work the first half, and then second half you're on your own. But
well, the
especially if you have a
society,
game that you're gonna get some ARs and you wanna, you know, work on the radio communication, it's a good thing to do.
the society never bought them because every society buys them because we've had 3 sets. They're $600 for a set of 4.
Are you asking to work as a team of 3, or are you asking for video linkage to the camera?
Probably both.
Because to the camera comes with
That's
a
not-
microphone.
That's not working anymore.
That's not working either anymore.
Well, we just gotta
This is all yours.
Can I have that one?
we just gotta figure it out. It stopped working in Aspen.
Tim, it was apparently not waterproof.
I don't know.
Good to know.
Would you like to see the USA high performance guys more involved? Yeah, they'd like to have maybe each, like a different person run the practical session, so it's not always me. They would like us to kind of come out and run touch for you guys more, so that's probably a opportunity for us to do it. It's kind of rare we get a weekend off, so, but we should be better about doing that. I mean, maybe the new match secretary could assign us when we're not doing something. It is kind of tough though. But we definitely should come out and support you guys more. Ideally, we could get the union to have curtain raiders and have stacks of referees there. So if Glendale is playing someone at 6 and there's a 4 o'clock game, that's a 2 o'clock game, that's an 11 o'clock game, it's an easier sell to leave the wife 2 hours earlier, or a bottle of lotion 2 hours earlier.
Professional.
I know, we'll get to question 9. I'm suspended.
Thanks, Mark.
That worked really well a couple times this year with the women's games, and I know it was awesome because Kosh got to do a game and I get to do a game, and we could watch each other and help out. That was a really great way to do it.
I mean, it would benefit the referee society so much if we could just, instead of a 1 o'clock game and some for Rugby Colorado, just, no, it's gotta be at 10, and it's gotta be here, because Ray will do it, and then Ray can help Kasha, and Kasha can help Eric, and Eric can help Charlie, and we can all hang out and coach, and it's just, I don't know. What roles should the executive committee be expanded to? Everyone's consensus was, we have an RDO, but we need a more structured RDO, referee development officer. The mass secretary needs some help, and kind of something with recruitment, like just teaching new referees how to fill out a match report, when to get contacted, where to go, do this for a yellow card. This is how you pretend to get kit, you know, from RA Rugby. And training, developing, fundraising, reassignment, those are all issues you brought up. I don't really, I mean, I sent this out to you guys, I don't want to teach you how to do all this stuff. You can read question 5 and 6 of more people doing stuff. Derek got a good summary of all that stuff. Question 9 really is the one we want to get to, is what's gone poorly, and basically just a lot of people felt that there's some infighting. Some people hold grudges against each other and bicker and talk down about each other, and it's not very professional. And that's a joke. And just basically the negativity and at the meetings, and treating people like they're less than intelligent for asking there's supposed to be no dumb questions, right? But we make you feel like it's a dumb question. A lot of people aren't clear about their pathway for development, so we need to basically kind of break that down more. And they feel like we're all a little cliquey, which is probably true, just because we kind of are. I don't know, we haven't had many society functions. That's bad, and that's probably my fault as much as any. Last 3 times we've done it, it's been kind of called off. I think I got sick one time, I was supposed to cook, and then we went up to Coburn's, and then we didn't do anything for the summer.
Well, it's been poorly attended.
Yeah, it's true too. I mean, I think the last time we called it off was we didn't do it summer when we were gonna do the winter one, and only 3 people were gonna go up to Coburn's. So I said, that's not worth it. So, I think if we do attend the video reviews and kinda do clubs, everyone liked that barbecue thing I did with Glendale. If we do that every month, it gets a little pricey, so I'm gonna spend a little bit of the money.
Pick a smaller team.
Well, it was only $200. I mean, it was more for us. And they just, I don't know. I mean, what's the suggestion, guys? Send it out to us. You know, go to a Rockies game or go bowling one night, or I don't know. But a lot of us do a lot of extra stuff, so it's. And then how do we fix all the negativity? Is we got to come up with a plan and kind of either hold referees accountable, which is the main thing. Like and treat it like your job, basically. Like if I talked down to Rick and I did that at work, I would probably be fired. So we need to actually hold referees accountable for their actions and do it. But everyone got this, right? Okay.
Even I could open it. I say even I was able to open it on the computer.
And you send the guy with stone tablets to.
Now, Mark,
On the 3rd floor, we don't do
Shame on
stone
you.
tablets.
you got a 10-minute timeout.
A question leading to a suggestion or an idea. This, Timmy, you wanted full season availability, I gathered. And I know I can't, and it's of no profound consequence, but I suspect there's a lot of people who on February 1st can't tell you if they're gonna be available on May 25th. So is it possible that we plan 4 to 6 weeks at a time?
Sure, I think I don't, while the spreadsheet went out for the entire season, I don't think it was necessarily a requirement. It would be nice if we had the schedule from the ERRFU more than 2 weeks in advance.
I understand that, been there,
was
done that.
By far the biggest challenge this year, is the fact that sometimes we got the schedule on the Monday before the Saturday.
To-
Tim, that's a big challenge every
To
year.
answer your question,
it's-
John,
I know this year's been particularly shady.
is, the goal is, guys, here's the document, please fill it out as much as you can, but it's a living document. You can always go to it and add an available time. It's like,
Yeah, okay.
so, I mean, if you do find yourself unavailable on March 23rd, and it's March 11th, you just go and fill that in, and Tim will see that.
Yeah, so I'm only assigning 4 weeks out. My ideal is to sign 4 weeks ahead. So,
Okay.
and then do another week and a week and a week at a time,
Well,
is the ideal. But my issue is because there's followers are playing Glendale next Friday and nobody knows about it, if I sign everything out, all of a sudden I got 7 or 8 men's games, and, you know, I've got to put someone as bad as Martin Nelson on it.
well, and
Yeah,
with
that's
what
10
the
burpees
union
right there.
did the other day,
That's his fitness
I
program.
suspect it's gonna get even worse before it gets better.
It may
Well,
be.
you're saying
But
we're
I'm
gonna
also
have-
thinking not only games, but instead of saying right now, let's have a summer picnic on the second Saturday in June, let's say that sometime over the summer, we're going to have a picnic and, you know, things like that, that planning is great, and it's always subject to change. The closer you get to it within reason, the easier it is not to change. And I know all about the schedule bullshit, trust me.
I'd be interested to know as a group, would you rather have so for this fall, let's say the schedule was all in there, would you rather have your assignments the entire fall figured out early so you could plan around it, or would you rather go on a shorter time frame basis? 'Cause I know I've gone back and forth with my own schedule, because I'm sometimes like you, I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I would be interested to know what people would prefer. If we had a perfect world where the schedule was in there and all our availability was done, would you wanna know for your entire season where you're gonna be? I know assignments may change here and
I
there.
don't, I personally wouldn't. You know, if I have 3 weeks' notice or something, even with my job, I can be wherever I wanna be 3 weeks from now.
And I think a lot of it depends on some of the individual referees. You know, referees who are lower, newer to the thing where we can pick what they can do. I can assign somebody, since I'm sitting across from Ray, I can assign Ray's stuff at C3, C2, all the way out. Speaking of somebody who's done it a lot for a number of years, as opposed to say, you or Tim, whose availability is spotty at best because of the other things you do, I may only be able to assign you 2 or 3 weeks out.
I guess I get that, and
So-
some games are just gonna be super big games, you have to move things around, but I would be interested to see what people think.
I think that if you schedule everything out from the beginning, you might be losing some development opportunities where, hey, you're showing improvement, I'm gonna step you up a bit, or hey, you didn't show that you were ready for that, so we need to do some remedial stuff a little bit.
Right, but you can always change it.
Yeah.
But, I can
Yeah,
take
but then if
somebody.
you change it, it's like a public embarrassment,
Yeah,
instead
I
of
would
it
agree.
being a.
That's why ideally a 4 week, no more than 4 weeks is, I wouldn't want to
Fair enough,
schedule.
I mean, I've done it both
No,
ways.
But
Yeah,
that's
I'm wondering
enough
how-
But I also get
notification
guys who,
that-
like, maybe Eric says, Gary, I've gotta have my schedule for the whole season,
Yeah.
because that's how my life is. I can work ahead and go, okay, well, Eric gave all the way out to November. Or Derek says, work's screwing me, I can't do anything more than 2 weeks in advance. Make a note. You were sitting there, you got picked. So
How do you guys feel about that?
a lot of the answer, I think, is it depends,
I
but
think a 2 week lead time is pretty much ideal. Because I think the schedules fluctuate so
If you're
much
doing
that
better,
at that
we can
point,
just
once
give
you're
you
locked
additional
in
games
within
that are
2 weeks,
up or
at that
down.
point, you should have a pretty good idea
But
that you're
I don't think
able
it's
to do
embarrassing to
it.
have you.
Gary,
With my work schedule, I don't know my work schedule until about mid-month for the following month, so. And I think Tim's seen it, where I'll go in, I'll fill in, as soon as I know my work schedule, I go fill it in, but I really
You're
don't
doing
have
what
any-
Kurt Weaver doesn't do?
I fill it the entire season.
Yes, 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 all the way, and then, oh, I can't make this game. Oh, I can't.
Works out really well for me.
So what you're saying is Kurt has a problem with truthfulness.
No, it's just the living document. I mean, you just gotta go in and keep updating the living document, because that's what I refer to. I don't recall if you sent me a text message 3 weeks ago that you're not available in December 25th. It's like, I don't recall that. I just go on the Google Docs and that's what I look at.
everyone's comfortable going to that? Like, no, there's no issues? Everyone has it bookmarked,
Can we just put that in the bottom of all our emails, perhaps?
the link to it?
Yeah, that way we don't have to go looking for it.
Or on the webpage, is it on
Just
there?
like as a reminder,
Can we-
if
can we
you
not
if you need to update your
signature line?
availability,
Yeah,
like,
maybe the webpage.
Can we end that single
Probably do
state?
that.
In the Google group?
In the Google
Yeah.
group?
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know, a
Yeah,
signature
we
to
can
the
do that.
Google group
You
base?
just add it to the thing.
And a big link
Something
from the
like-
Google group to there, but
Yeah.
I think there already is
Well,
one.
and that, and with question 5 was website changes, so there were some really good responses to that. That'll be an interesting challenge. To get ideal website.
Yeah,
Charlie?
I've always been a proponent for having our own website, to where we put the schedule up.
So
And
whoever
the clubs
answered
have
that
to come
question
in
really
and
well,
buy
do we know who
into
that was?
that.
Charlie, this may be an agenda item for later, but something that's been coming around from Jen here at the office is this new system that they want everybody to look into.
all players.
Not all players.
Is it-
Is it
No,
all
that's the
Or the
debacle.
CMS.
for That,
That has nothing to do with the refs though.
no, but if the union buys into that,
We're already
that
making
makes
the
the
teams do it.
scheduling,
We're already making the teams do that. From a union standpoint, we're already making the teams do it from a union standpoint.
What was that, a schedule?
It just doesn't sit
It's
on,
a-
it doesn't sit on the ERRFU website, cause Keith runs the ERRFU website.
but it's a tool where everybody puts in their availability, and let's say Fred Thomas puts you on a USA game, nobody anywhere down the food chain from the west or the areas or now, or Tim can grab you because you're supposed to be completely blocked out.
That's
I
not
think that's a
CMS
couple of years from development.
Yeah,
That would solve the Kurt Weaver issue right there.
That is totally how they explained it to us, though.
Who explained it that way?
People on that conference call.
Which people on which conference call? Please don't tell me Jim Snyder.
I don't-
I think, so
It's
that's
all
that's the
blurred.
goal. I think that's the goal, I think. Eric is actually in running the CMS system for us pretty much, right? So,
Yeah.
so he knows intricately what it is. I think it's maybe a couple of years if they're gonna get that? Or a year
That's a
at least.
budgetary issue. I mean, we could do that in a year if we got the budget approved for it. That was one of the requested
No,
pieces.
not a year.
Okay.
But
3 years.
I know other people use
So at the same
Arbiter,
time they move the office?
Sorry?
Arbiter, like that Arbiter software, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something, that's something that's a neat thing.
We can explore a bunch of options.
Pay people out of it.
6, 8 weeks.
That's what the local union and Potomac Road Union uses, our system.
Mhm.
Arbiter?
A lot of state high school athletic associations use it
Yeah.
for their sports.
Yeah, it's just a.
Do you have a link to it? Kurt?
Yeah, it's arbitersports.com, however you spell Arbiter.
As long as you can embed
Yeah,
it
It's
in
A,
there.
ARBITER, I think is what it says,
Arbiter
but I mean,
Sports.
Spell check.
Somebody else is a state spelling champion, yeah?
I'm just saying,
It's
there
an
was
easy
like, it's a package system for sports.
It's neat because you can
Organization.
schedule in there, and as well you can pay, so if the referee actually went and did the game, they get paid out of that as well, so it's kind of an all-in-one stop shop for referees.
Is it billing entity too, like if?
Yeah, bills the teams to then pay into the system and or then pays the
like a
referee, so
game,
it's,
like I'm a club, I have to pay $50 to put my game on the schedule.
I
And
don't know that mechanism, but we can,
Do you know if that would fold into a website, or is it something that
yeah,
looks
you
like?
can.
It is website.
You can
you
embed it.
You can
You can
iframe
embed-
it, or,
Yeah,
Sweet. I think you just didn't,
that's the big thing, is you wanna embed it into your site, you don't wanna deal with external.
Yeah.
and if you want your own site, certainly you'd probably use
Well, when
something
you do
simple
that,
like a
you just
WordPress or
embed it
whatever the
into
hot
that
thing is,
How
and you
to
can
do
embed
it.
everything into those.
Okay,
Yeah, WordPress is not
okay,
You sound like you know what you're doing, you're hired.
there's our website development officer, right there.
You could answer that question.
That was me, that was my question, so,
Good, that's,
I know,
Stu is
I know a
getting
bunch of
into it.
people, I'll do it, if you guys tell me, I'll start.
I got nothing better to do. Well, I do, but.
Don't say that, man.
I'll do it, yeah.
You obviously have never been in the military where you learn not to
Well,
volunteer.
I know, but.
Probably come up with a plan in December with a new EC.
Sure.
I mean, it's my intention to have our own website.
And there's some nice ones out there, like SoCal's got a good one, but there's also some that are terrible.
SoCal's so much better than
So,
SoCal.
SoCal's is a train wreck.
Tony's got a good
Better than
one.
ours.
The good news is Texas is worse. Well,
East
All right.
Rockies is redoing his website.
Quick question.
Yes.
Tim, if we have a hard time with the teams scheduling things last minute, could we make it be more expensive?
Well, that's,
So,
the,
Assuming they-
yes and no. I mean, as in, I think that's one of those things that, at least in my mind, if we go to a point with the website, so let's say the borrower's gonna put their schedule up or whatever. If you wanna have referees, you go on, you stick in your game, you stick in the date, you stick in your credit card number. You know, that gets registered on, comes onto our website, and we can therefore timestamp it. We come up with the issue right now is, well, was it 2 weeks, was it a week, was it 8 days? You know, I signed the season out, and I'm all done, and I get an email on Tuesday morning going, hey, who's our referee? Like, for what? When on earth did that appear? You know? So it's like, was that a week, was that, what are we charging, we don't have,
Right.
there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of logistics and so forth, but yes.
Yeah,
I agree
you-
entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the union has, if you try to make a change to the master schedule within 14 days, you have to put a credit card up and pay.
But that goes to.
But that goes to union.
But it goes to union, right, so I wanna make it so that it comes
Goes to us.
Yeah.
But then they get in all those wonderful pissing matches about whose fault, you know, I don't understand.
We don't care, put down a credit card.
That's right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but.
The details are important too, because every
Now-
game's at 1, and it's at 3, and it's at, you're trying to.
But if you already make them put a credit card down to begin with, when they enter it in, it's gonna make them.
And if you need to make a time change, there needs to be a
Well, you-
price.
yeah, you- I mean-
If you screw it up and don't enter it, pay again.
You can code it to where you didn't enter a kickoff time, and you have to put that, and then, you know, if it changes, referee just has to, on the match report, say, there is a thing on there, it says kickoff time was this, and I don't know what that does, I don't
What
see it.
happens if the team said the kickoff times too? I know at the club level, I
It's-
asked everybody
it
for
says
kickoff
after
times, and said I
confirmed.
was gonna put down 2 o'clock as their default, and only Glendale responded.
So-
Well, I mean, that's, it's
Out
gotta be
of
something
19
that's built
clubs.
into, that if it gets changed or something, they get a
Well, I
$25
just usually
thing.
One of the things I really
changed
liked on
it.
the old system we had through that old Yahoo group was any change to it was sent out to anybody assigned to the game. So if the teams changed a time, changed a referee assignment, everybody used to get a notice.
Isn't everything set up through Google Docs right now?
This was part of the old system we had a few years ago.
Just the people involved in theory should get an email
Yeah.
when something gets changed.
Yeah,
So
I
if
think
you're
that-
involved, as in like, as the referee, and I take your name back off it or assign it.
Right, you are no longer required to be at this game.
Yeah, exactly, that should come out to that referee, at least that was my understanding of what it did, but I'm not a website computer guy.
Yeah, that doesn't do it anymore, I think, do you even get an email if you get assigned a game now?
Yeah, I get emails when I assign myself.
I get emails and I have to respond, and I can't make it. So-
That's very true, I've received some of those too.
Okay.
Charlie,
Yes.
since we wound
Set your
up
auto
G1
reply.
apparently,
No.
Get a key.
is that gonna affect the structure of what we used to call ERRFU overall?
In what regard?
Well, yeah, I mean, the union is marching towards the Rocky Mountain.
The GU,
Right.
and for lack of a better name, that's why I'm calling it ERRFU, but since what the Barbos and Glendale did last week, what, does that start to just destroy what little is left of what we have? As an ERRFU GU?
No, because we still have
No,
the D2s and D3s.
because you got
There's
D2,
lots of unions that don't have
D3, you
D1
got,
teams.
What if the Barbos and Glendale do?
Talk to that D1.
They pulled out of D1. We have 3 teams left in D1.
oh, Utah.
Where did they go?
And our,
In our whole entire competitive region of like 8
Boulder,
states,
Utah,
there are
and
3
Provo.
D1 teams. So,
So-
for this year, they're gonna wind up having a challenge match with NorCal to go to nationals. For next year, Boulder said they're gonna go to D2, and the Utah teams are probably on their own. Cause nobody wants them, and we don't leave them. So, we've had multiple teams say that if we
They're
put them
just
on the
gonna play
schedule,
in the
they would just
West
pull out of our
Coast
union.
Premier League.
So, yay, Provo.
But I think we have to think of ourselves as almost like an autonomous group. We're here to serve whatever this geographic union is, whatever Rugby Colorado is, whatever the college women are now in the Pacific Northwest, what I don't know.
Pacific Mountain Conference,
Pacific Mountain Conference. So it's like
for as long as that lasts.
we can no longer think of ourselves as we are just beholden to Earth. You know, we've got several different clients, and our goal as referees is to service the game and service the teams that want to play that game.
Yeah.
So-
I think we have to
Plus,
approach it.
ERRFU will pretty much just be the club teams.
So the referee society should become its own corporate body and sell our services for,
And I'm going to present at the December meeting a plan that I put together that basically does just that.
I mean, we kinda are our own.
We are, but we aren't. We are, but we aren't. I mean, we're autonomous, agreed, so.
We have our own budget, we have our own money, we get our own money from
Yeah.
our own things.
But this plan is basically saying that the clubs have to come basically to us and contract with us.
Just like Rugby Colorado does.
Yeah.
Let's do
So
that.
Rugby Colorado comes to us to contract with us.
Because then we can set our own rules.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
we'll have certain rules that
That's-
we have to live by.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Whatever form it takes, we need to have a product to sell. And yeah, it's a locked-in market and tough shit if you don't like it, but
No,
we
that's-
don't wanna be,
That's the model that's
of-
emerging pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
The unions, what used to be the unions, are just like now club unions. The colleges are all forming their conferences, the high schools are all forming their SROs, and then the referees are just gonna contract with those separate bodies. So,
So we will be an entity that is based here in Denver,
Mhm.
and we'll contract whoever wants to contract with us.
okay.
So, alright, let's move on. Representing ERRFU, or Rocky Mountain, whatever it is, Referee Society. Mark, you put this on the agenda?
We just have a, not that there's been a flag, there was a little Facebook story about Delaware, and I just figured it'd be nice to kinda know, like, when you go out and exchange, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I mean, I'm not saying don't go not have fun, but, like Kurt and Brian are going to England, they should entirely have a good time, but they're also, should be professional and just, you're the face of rugby, you're a referee, and we should just be more professional. Not saying that we aren't, but there's times I've gone on exchange and gotten completely drunk and made a fool, and I've learned from that, and it just, if that's your kind of thing and you're in the rugby to referee and then go have a good time, just when you go and represent the union, and as you progress, you'll represent the territory and maybe the USA at some point. You're always a representative of that team, no matter what you do, off the field, on the field, how you act in the bar, how you act on tour, how you act in someone's house, someone's hosting you. Just be respectful of the guests, of the hosts, and just kind of carry yourself with a professional attitude. That's kind of all I'm saying. You know, if you have to get ripped roaring drunk, do it on the next weekend when you're home, and not when you're on tour. And
Not wearing your rugby t-shirt at the bar when you're doing it.
yeah, you know, just
Don't clean your boots in your host's living room.
that's
Who did that?
someone.
Someone from pretty high up.
Yeah. Just
Nice job, Charlie.
if you're in
Wasn't
someone's house, just pretend it's your house, and treat everyone with respect. Kind of, we want to be one of the best unions, and we should be proud to have our guys get sent out and get positive reports on their back, and not like, oh geez, this guy was a pain, he was late, he didn't show up for breakfast, or, I don't know. I mean, nationally, we go out to events, there's always someone that makes a scene or something, and it's usually not us. So it's kind of funny anymore.
You shouldn't try to get in a fight with another ref when you're out on exchange. I didn't do that.
I mean, you guys, like, where's this coming from, but it's, I mean, just the stuff we've
This
seen,
happened.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So, Derek, you got,
Fired up.
yeah.
There's coffee and water if you guys want.
Could take a couple.
Where's water?
We can rotate it, or just move it over.
Everyone knows the docking code is right?
Don't touch the equipment.
10 burpees, 10 burpees.
Everyone logged into Wi-Fi? Everyone happy with
Yeah.
Alright, everybody take a piece of paper
Now,
and
pop quiz.
pass these. It's not really a pop quiz,
Yeah.
but if you'd like to number it 1 through 10, we're gonna look at 10 clips.
John, do you have an extra pencil? Oh, drainage one.
Thank you.
Right here. Thanks.
Yeah, no, this one was last minute.
I'm good. Video.
Yeah, so you gotta pass.
So what's the instruction?
You're not allowed to complain.
Just take a piece of paper, number 1 through 10. Not really a quiz, just kind of for yourself. For yourself, really, and we're not grading this or anything. I'm not
Cut.
no one wants
Don't
to,
exchange anymore?
no one wants to see what Weaver's gonna get on this.
Are we numbering this to a specific?
Yeah, number 1 through 10. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Alright, so the purpose of this, what's going on?
So there's a button next to the power button. Just hit that one. It'll start search. Yep, there you go. It'll start recording.
So the purpose of this is, I know it said tackle versus no tackle situations. This is more about, really? Okay. This is more about recognizing your phase. And the key points of this is, what is the phase? What is the law? What am I looking for? What am I not looking for? So we're going to watch these clips straight through, all 10, and then we're going to go back and go through these individually and break down the law and all that good stuff. Sound.
Yeah, you can plug in the speakers if you want.
Plug it in.
I gotta turn them on.
So Stu, you will be technology officer also?
Could be that it needs to be switched.
I end up doing it for
I just heard volume. Oh.
project manager and engineering.
What is this thing?
Power.
Oh, that's power? Okay, never mind.
No, power.
Are you plug, your,
Plug in something.
okay.
Whoa. Hello. Kids. That one again.
Alright, here we go.
And Engels goes short, but not back, well done. And it's there for other tickets. So Dahl under pressure from Simmons. Finds the runner, and he's him on.
Clip 2.
Well, Andy, as the crowd starts to roar, shot. Here's the intercept pass.
They don't replay it. So. It's number 3.
I think we're really writing down here. Hey, it's not just me.
Okay, so what's your
They're
decision? Is it play on? Is it penalty? What? That's what you're writing
For which breakdown?
for all the clips.
The clips.
For all the breakdowns within each clip?
No, can you tell us when we go from one clip to the,
I've been announcing. All right, we're on clip 3.
Just, can you want to start over?
I'll just pause it. All right, we'll just start over. National 2, ladies and gentlemen.
10 burpees.
Just kidding.
So the instructions are not clear on what's...
National, that's why it's national.
And it's a short. Not back, well done. And it's there for the tickets. Under pressure from Simmons. Finds a runner.
Clip.
All right, that was clip 1. We're only gonna watch these once. Okay, that's the point of it. So you. This is clip 2. You with me, Weaver?
I'm with you.
He's on. Randy. As the crowd starts to roar. The crowd is. Oh, James Hall has picked it up from an offside position. This is Chick. Did he make the tackle?
For me, it's a timing issue. That was a rough. You've got to make.
This is clip 3.
James looking for touch and finding it.
Alright, we good?
Wouldn't mind watching.
To the Reds and they take it quickly and Jono Lance is up from fullback. Wahi, he steps to the temple of Wahi goes. Advantage being played for the Reds. Schatz takes it into contact. Penalty. Number 6, straight inside. And it's against the 6, Dion Steckman. After the tackle's back up away, he intended to go over the top of the ball, got there without going through the gate. It's intercepted
And this is 5.
Boucherie comes away and then puts boot to ball, and now there's a race. Vuso's winning that race as well. Henry does so well to get back, and he's not allowed back to his feet. And it's a penalty to Ulster, but from being 2 metres from the Clermont line, they're back near their own 22.
Come away with some sort of point. And Henry doing the hard yards back under pressure from Boucherie.
Okay. This is 6.
Jackson. Crowd as well, they hang on. Here's the interception. Could have gone the length of the field. Epron chases back. And Stemmer chasing down. These are anxious moments for the home side. They're up front in Earfa with the clearance kick. But Griquas will have a line-up with just on 2 minutes to play.
The Province looking for a try at the death, but brilliant work by Sean Stemmett. He put the gas on, managed to get the chipping. Clever play by the big outside centre from Griquas. And it's now or never for the Kimberley-based outfit.
The ensuing lineup, it's Snowman with
It was 6, right?
That was 6. Okay, we're on 7.
the ensuing lineup, it's Snowman with the hoist. And a wonderful leap and catch from Akoro Lingani. But Dion Kareem is working hard over the ball.
Great area contest here. Dungani gets it back, but Aaron's on his feet, well within his right to compete. And a 2-1, good turn him.
Samar.
Alright, this is 8.
Samar. Oh, just all on a fraction. Great work by Rainer Benjamin. The veteran Sevens player. Sorry. Yeah, over the shoulder and.
Here's 9.
Yeah, over the shoulder and round the back. And it's Jane. Jane carrying well. Twirling and getting back, but Jane wasn't held there. In goes Smith. England spoil. Believe me, Colin Farrell was in there. He believes the ball was out.
After feed. Well, I have to say, great break from Corey Jane. There's potentially there is for Nicholasman getting off his feet, the tackle area, 5 metres out. That's a yellow card.
There's still time. They've got one to maybe set up that fourth try. Ben Smith, though, can't get away. Can. He wasn't held in the tackle of Amorosino. And here they come again through Reed. Awkward position. Oh, lovely sleight of hand. And a brilliant pass. Oh, that was good. Well, Savia was almost away. Lovely trickery there from Taura Kerbalo, but the pass edged forward.
Distinctly remember you, Justin, doing things like that as we see Ben Smith. The ground, he's taking the ground very quick, releases the ball up to his feet. Very nice play. To see here, I'm pretty sure you painted that, didn't you, Justin?
Okay. So, those are our 10 clips. And here we go. So, as I said earlier, the point of this is not necessarily like, yeah, we're watching Super Rugby matches or Super Rugby or Tri Nations or Curry Cup or whatever. What just happened?
Just have to push the button again.
Like these video clips are basically just examples of what to look for. These situations happen in all of our games that we do, no matter what the level is. So the point of this is to know the phase and then to know the law. What do you need to look for? What do you not need to look for? The basic premise is avoid penalizing things that do not exist. Non-tackles, non-rucks, things like that. So there is no offside if you don't have a ruck. You know, there's no side entry if you don't have a tackle. There's no not releasing if you're not held, stuff like that. So this isn't really a video quiz. It's more of law education with law 14, 15, 16. So here we go. The first clip.
Derek, what do you mean by phase?
Phase, like, do I have a tackle? Do I have a ruck? Do I have no tackle?
Is it a tackle only? Is it a ruck? Is there no tackle because he wasn't held?
So
ball on the ground, no tackle.
The first clip.
Hernandez goes short. Not back, well done.
So definitely a tackle.
Tackle. Definitely a tackle. Definitely a tackler.
Hernandez goes short. Not back, well done. And it's there for...
So the tackler, number 8, he's released, he's done his job. The arriving player,
Green 3 or 3.
whoever that is, yeah, number 3. Has he come through the gate? No. If you look at it again, had he come through the gate, he would have been rucked by this player. So, side entry, 15.6D, at a tackle or near a tackle, other players who play the ball must do so from behind the ball and directly behind the tackled player or the tackler closest to the player's goal line. It's pretty clear.
Would you take a question, I guess? So my thought here is the guy just chose not to ruck him. He chose to not ruck that player.
That's a tackle and that's side entry. Like, what?
What's your question?
What is it?
No. So
it's not about the rucking player. This is more about the arriving player. Has he come through the gate? Has he?
So
Hernandez goes short. Not back, well done. And it's there for
Maybe, Kurt, to answer your question.
Derek, let him ask his question.
just a
Alright.
devil's advocate. He's on his side of the ball.
Okay.
So he didn't go all the way back around the entire body, but he's on his side of the ball, and the player who was arriving just decided to bypass him and go past him.
Okay.
And then as soon as he passed, he reached out and picked up the ball.
Okay, the Argentine player, he doesn't have to ruck him because that player is there illegally. he can choose to bypass that and take on a player legally there. 3 gold is there illegally because he's not through the gate. I don't have to ruck you if I don't want to. But if you're there illegally, you're there illegally.
He's on his own side of the ball, so he's not necessarily legal.
He's not
He
on
might be
his
not.
own side of the ball.
Okay, take the side of the
Through
ball
the
out of
side.
it. The law doesn't say side of the ball. It says through the gate.
Okay.
But if it's ruck there at all, then he's a whole length, a whole 6 meters,
But there's no
feet
ruck.
offside.
But there's, you need.
No, it's a tackle.
The
It's a
point
tackle.
of it is a tackle. Like that's a tackle.
Right, so
He's
there's
not
a
the
gate.
tackler. He has to come through the gate. If he came through the gate, he would have been involved in that ruck. Like it's pretty clear. But he wasn't. He was from the side, and he's played the ball.
Okay.
The main point is we have a tackle. He's not the tackler. I mean, a rough presentation.
Well, no, this is good. This is education.
So again,
That's 4.
tackle.
But he wasn't involved in the play.
Well, we can't just stay on the like. We got to move on. All right.
But no, but hang on real quick. He was a tackler, so as soon as he hops, he's not offsides. There's no ruck there. He's a tackler. If there was no other player, goal player there, and he just popped up and grabbed the ball, he would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yes. The guy who was
Yes.
standing on the other side.
That was
The Argentine player.
it's 4 gold.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
standing on
okay.
the sides, right?
He's right there, and he just loops around. And
This is not that. This is not that phase.
It's not the clip.
The first clip, number 3, came from the side. Alright,
No,
so.
the other guy.
We're done. We're on up to guys.
All right.
We're on to.
It's good to clarify this.
This is the problem, guys. He's trying to ask a question.
Yeah,
Everyone's
we-
getting on his case. That's
No.
I understand.
These are the bullet points. Like, that's
Let's just go. We're on clip 2.
it's not debatable.
We're
It's
on-
not
we're on
debatable.
clip 2.
That's fine, that's fine.
Don't-
Just
to go back to that though,
because
because like this is the opposite side of the coin, because that's like the way you don't like the meetings, but this is the way I don't like the meetings. Because I feel like we've moved past that, so let's not hang on to it forever.
Just go.
It's good to clarify the issues, just so we're all clear about what we're talking about.
It's not about
Dave,
saying
4 was there. He wasn't taking part of the tackle, so he can be there. But he wasn't taking part.
there's no ruck.
So,
Yeah.
we're on clip
I'll
2.
talk
Yes.
after the meeting. After the
Go.
meeting.
Tackle.
Keep talking.
Yes.
Press
Tackler. Yes.
As the crowd starts to roar.
Ruck.
Ruck.
No ruck.
No. Define a ruck.
One for-
Someone define a ruck.
2 players on their feet in contact over the ball.
To opposition.
Do we have an Argentinian player? Do we have an Australian player in contact with this guy?
No.
No. So the tackler can do.
No.
No. No one's touching.
Bound. Shoulder.
He's a tackler. He's got to his feet. He can play with him.
Goal 5 was the tackle.
For me, it's a timing issue. That was a
There it stopped.
So that was a bad call, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That call is incorrect.
The call was incorrect.
Right,
Everybody agree?
you've got to make sure.
Everybody agree?
I think that is sort of like a necessary issue in terms of the tackler can get to his feet and play the ball from any direction,
Correct.
as long as there's no ruck.
As long as there's no
Right. Correct. Right? Good?
Yes.
decision, play on.
For me, it's a timing issue. The referee is not supposed to be there.
Not when you ask it.
So that's the same thing.
Everyone's just standing around as if there were a ruck, but there wasn't.
Definition
Why
of
never
ruck.
engage the ruck?
2 player or 1 player from each team on his feet in contact.
Didn't have
None of that. Open play.
So
Saying it's
Onside.
only because there's black in there that there's no offsides.
Correct.
Like that's
DU does that a lot. for
By the
anybody who runs
definition,
into
lots of teams are picking this up. Glendale's starting to do it. The Barbos have done it.
DU doesn't.
There's D2 teams that are starting to pick it up as well. College teams. You guys that have been doing 7s this fall should be recognizing that a lot more. Like if you're having any more than 1 or 2 offside calls in a 7s match, you might want to reconsider what your definition of a ruck is. But everybody with me?
So that just let me point out the great bit of management. He says it's the thing to pick up because you always he's offside. You just say tackle only. It's a tackle only.
Derek, could you play a ruck? Yeah.
No, just tackle only is fine. I mean, don't tackle only, no ruck, no offside, just tackle only. they don't get it, then they're not gonna get it. You don't need to say it 3 times, but.
Looking for touch and finding it.
Let's say with a South African accent. So much better.
Tackle only.
So
Robert, you good with that?
if a,
You good with that?
I have a question. So
Yeah.
if a white player is going for the ball in that situation and the black player stops him, you would call a penalty on that black player.
Well, then he'd be in the tackle zone.
obstructing.
For why?
He'd be in the
Right.
tackle zone. He'd be illegally.
He'd be, well, the player doesn't have the ball.
Yeah.
He's got no reason to go for that player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Playing a man without the ball.
right. That's correct.
I mean, it's still a tackle, so he can't get in there.
He has to go through the gate in order to
Correct.
play the ball.
Okay. But no one can stop him from going through the gate because there's no ruck? Or would that be forming a ruck?
Well, if
Someone
he
stops
came
him
through the
and he's
gate,
playing through
he
the
would be
gate.
in contact with
Okay.
someone, so, yeah.
Free kick to the Reds and they take it quickly and John Lance is up for a full-back kick. Wahi on his steps up to the 10-metre mark he goes. Starting being played for the Reds. Schatz takes it into contact. Penalty. Number 6 straight inside. And it's against the 6, Leon Speckman. After the tackles man of Tapuai.
Keep it.
There's
Play it
a
again, Derek.
tip,
There we go, the top of the ball got there without going through the gate.
Is there a way to play these over?
I think by your, I can't read
Free kick to
by your question mark, it means there, it wasn't.
Is this a tackle?
The first one, which is the ankle tap. Is that what you're talking about?
It's not.
Well, even the second one. Cause look at the second incident, what happens.
The main, like the point of this, this little next, there's like 3 in a row that deal with Law 14. So you're looking at, do you have a tackle? Is he held? No. And then you have an arriving player, and then you also have the player on the ground. And the player on the ground has options as well as the arriving player on his feet.
the Reds and they take it quickly and John Lance is up for a full-back kick. Wahi on his steps.
So, not
No
held.
tackle, right?
They can play the ball from any direction, provided he doesn't fall on the player. And then the player on the ground has 3 options: to pass it, place it, or he can get up. So if everybody exercises their correct options, it should be play on.
To the 10-metre mark he goes. Starting being played for the Reds. Schatz takes it into contact. Penalty. Number 6 straight inside. And it's against the 6, Leon Speckman.
Seems pretty immediate, and the fact that he's saying from the side, at the side of what? It's not a tackle, it's a nothing, so play on is your decision.
Yeah. So the point I was trying to make is that in that second incident, even though he was on the ground, none of the blue players went to ground. So you don't have a tackle, right? Because the definition of a tackle is,
You don't have to have a tackle to the ground and have a tackle.
Well, you can't tackle players already on the ground anyway.
Well, the tackle has to be, the ball carrier has to be controlled before it can be a tackle.
control, right? Exactly.
I mean, he rolled over one more time, but
Yeah.
he said it. And that's positive. That's fine.
After the tackles man of Tapuai. It's intercepted and Rougerie comes away and then puts boot to ball and now there's a race. Vusai's winning that race as well. Henry does so well to get back and he's not allowed back to his feet. And it's a penalty to Ulster, but from being 2 metres from the Clermont line, they're back near their own 22.
Come away with some sort of point. And Henry doing the hard yards back under pressure from Rougerie.
So, same thing. Tackle, no. Tackler, no. As I said earlier, player on the ground has 3 options. And the player on his feet is what we're mainly looking at. And that's basically an immediate penalty. So
So, I have a question. Let's say the guy goes on top of him, but is supporting his body weight. So he's not laying on the guy, but he's supporting his own body weight. And he's trying to play the
that's
ball.
the next clip.
That's okay.
Right.
So just because he's laying on him, he can't
Derek,
support
as
his
well,
body
it's
weight.
3-on-1 to the white team, I believe. So it's 3-on-1 to the white team, they clearly were going to ruck that guy off and get the ball clearly, would you call that penalty, or would you keep it in your pocket and say, they're gonna get the ball back, and it's something to talk about that guy later? Or talk about
He's basically killed it.
I would
If he
call it.
wasn't there, that guy's on his feet and they're moving. He's
Well, no,
basically
but
killing
if
the
you watch
player.
the end of the clip, they immediately ruck him off.
He's killed it, though. This is like an immediate penalty almost. It's almost it's just black and white. Like if it happens, you penalize it immediately.
Think of it as a statement. As well.
I think it's far from black and white.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
3-on-1, they're gonna get the ball back. Although I understand what you're saying, I'm just wondering about the position of the field. There's no blue anywhere in the screen as it happens in the next few seconds here. I'm just wondering if it's something that you keep in your pocket. And had it been a shoulder charge to the guy's neck on the ground, I get it, but he sort of went semi for the ball as he's going down, and I'm just wondering.
I understand. That's a great philosophy, but let me phrase this back to you.
Sure.
Finish the sentence. Slow ball is no ball. Slow ball is no ball. And if you bang him right away, you have a 3-on-1 and he has to go back 10 meters, and they can go quick tap and get a 3-on-1 and get a penalty without
If
it.
you have your law book, anybody who has their law book, no. You want to read in the definitions of Law 14. A player who makes the ball unplayable or who obstructs the opposing team by falling down is negating the purpose and the spirit of the game and must be penalized.
Well, we read a lot of things in the book, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is, in the process of the game, is this something that you have to immediately penalize? Immediately walked over, 2 more guys there with the ball, they could be off and running right now on the field.
Just look at that, like he just kills it.
So you don't play advantage?
No. That's so. This is my question here. Immediate whistle is what I think this is Wayne Barnes again, but you don't play advantage there and see what's going to happen, or let it breathe for a second. There's 4-on-1 as it goes. I'm just asking the question to say, is this?
But I guess the point is that.
I mean, you make a valid point. I understand that, but I think.
I mean, has he gone off his feet? Has he fallen over the player?
I think.
I don't think Kurt's disagreeing that.
Yeah.
I don't think Blue has gone off his feet at all. I think he stopped White getting up, but I certainly don't think Blue went off his feet. He's on his feet because White's just...
Well, he wasn't supported by his own feet.
He landed on the guy.
Yeah, that's.
It's the new. So I supported my own weight by using you. I get that.
No, that's we all. I mean, maybe except for you. I think we all agree that he fell over that player.
Compared to the next clip, is a better option.
And the
He
question,
lets that
Kurt,
play,
is
the player's able to get to his feet and then they're able to go. I mean, in my eyes, he's just killed it. Like,
Okay.
What?
And I'm asking more so for process of the. We see this to where no one chases but the one guy. There's 4 players. They're going to get the ball back and keep going. Is this something we want to see stopped and deal with it, or is it something where you let it?
I mean, it's pretty dangerous to fall on a player on the ground.
I'm with you, but he didn't give the shoulder and the neck kind of thing.
Kurt, so let's what time is it in the match? Has it happened before?
Yeah.
These are all things to consider. Remember, like the foul play. This is foul play, and maybe you flag this, and is the guy seriously hurt? Is it a card? This is all things you got to process. Has it been an open game? Is White have superior backs? Is Blue negative in play? It's all kind of things. So maybe there's no right or wrong answer. It's black or white. It's all kind of gray. But I think the way the high performance guys they want to take this out. This is cynical. They want to have it removed, and I think that we're going to trend down to you guys. We would rather you make a statement on this and get that guy off than play advantage and hopefully White scores it. Because really White's there's really no advantage. They're on their own 22.
This is something to look out for if you're doing Northern Colorado versus Colorado Springs or whatever. So there's a kick and chase. 9 times out of 10, retreating players, it's a smart move. They're going to go to ground because they're protected on the ground for this very reason. So it's something to look out for. As I said earlier, I mean, these are just examples of stuff like that, but these are things to look out for in your match.
So Mark, your point is that penalize the guy to give everybody a warning that I'm penalizing this type of play.
This is not going to happen in my match. Same with like a dangerous high tackle or it's 20 minutes in. I don't know. There's been a lot of chip and chase, but it could be a statement. Probably a little bit too late to have a statement penalty, but this kind of thing, it could this is not happening today.
Alright. We good with that?
Yes.
Jackson. Carr does well to hang on. There's the interception. Brilliant. Could have got the length of the field. Efron chases back. And Stemmer chasing down. These are anxious moments for the home side. Herod van den Heever with the clearance kick. The Griquas will have a line out with just on 2 minutes to play.
The Province looking for a try at the death, but brilliant work by Jean Stemmet. He put the gas on, managed to get the chip in. Clever play by the big outside centre from Griquas. And it's now or never for the Kimberley-based outfit.
Pretty similar. Kind of what you mentioned. He does fall down, but he pops up pretty immediately. The guy on the ground is able to do his option, or exercise his option, he gets up.
See, in my viewpoint, you've wasted 30 seconds there. You're going to give him a penalty right away. He's got no support, and he wants a penalty to clear it away a touch. That's all the defending team needs. That's all they want. To
But
me, it's
the penalty for what?
What?
going down on him.
He didn't go down.
Yeah, so the second one, the second one, there was no penalty call.
Trips on him, and then pops right up.
And goes right on top of him.
Yeah, then he gets
So
on
he
his
went
feet.
down on the player.
Well,
I don't know how you couldn't call that a penalty.
you mean if you call it the other one?
Well, I
This is basically what Kerr was just talking about.
No, so I actually I see Tim's point here. That one he went way more
He
down
went
the player.
down on the
and
player.
He got right back to his feet, and I get what you're saying, Derek, about this. But in a
I didn't just like make these decisions up.
No. But in
How
a,
can you play on that?
in a
I
more
thought the
blatant
second one
way,
was worse than the first one.
that player loses feet and hits the guy
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
in a bigger way than the one before it.
Okay.
But I think the immediate support of the white team on the previous clip is more liable to penalize the other guy. You have to be perfect, blue player. In this one, it's one-on-one. It's there's no advantage to anybody.
Carr does well to hang on. There's the interception.
Yeah.
Could have got the length of the field.
This chase right here, like this.
It's the same as the other one.
Efron chases back.
One-on-one. Now they get back
Now
around.
they're back on. Now they're
Stemmer
trying to drive
chasing
it.
down. These are anxious moments.
Now you
I had-
a penalty.
I had play on.
It's
in my-
intercepted and Rougerie comes away and then puts boot to ball, and now there's a race. Vusais winning that race as well. Henry does so well to get back.
I think White is slower here than the blue team was in support.
And it's a penalty.
Again, they're slower.
Fair enough.
Being 2 meters. Jackson.
I mean, the strike team is here in support faster than the white team.
Could have got the length of the field. Efron chases back. And Stemmer chasing down. These are anxious moments for the home side. Herod van den Heever with the clearance kick. The Griquas will have a line out with just on 2 minutes to play.
The Province looking for a try at the death, but brilliant work by Jean Stemmet. He put the gas on, managed to get the chip in. Clever play by the big outside centre from Griquas. And it's now or never for the Kimberley-based outfit.
I'm not gonna fault you guys to penalize that guy's falling on. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not so clear and obvious that he didn't fall on him. I understand Derek's point that maybe it.
I think like what's the result of the first one is the player tries to get up and he falls back to ground. This one, he's able to get up and they're able to continue
Yeah.
on.
So that's.
Did you have play on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there some measure of slowing the ball down here? I mean,
Well-
the
Well, it's
first
not.
one,
Well,
it's slow
another
the
thing to
first
look out
one.
for is you wouldn't call like not releasing or something like that because it's not a tackle. So, it's really not a. I mean, it's not a case of slowing it down because everybody does their options correctly.
Maybe it's a case of did the player who went down to the ground collected, was he able to exercise his options? And the first one he clearly was not because he could not get up, he could not release it. This one, at least this player got to his feet. So yes, both of the arriving players fell on him, but this one was able to get to his feet and continue on. I mean, not
Not great, but he did it.
but he was. So
Well, I mean, what's the result usually going to be? They're going to have a ruck and they're going to kick the touch. Not as good of a kick. They might have been a little bit more under pressure, but
I mean, there is gray areas in refereeing. This is just something to help you guys and make you think.
that is a fair point though about slowing the ball down.
I mean, the first one was clearly slowed.
Well, I mean,
down,
in terms of law,
so.
like the player on his feet hasn't done anything wrong because he's not required to release him because
Right.
he's not a tackler. So
Even if you accidentally trip and land on somebody, you went off your feet onto the guy on the ground. I'm sorry, you tripped, it was an accident. You're still going to get penalised. That high tackle, it was dangerous, it was high. Didn't mean to do it. Sure, it was an accident, let it go. You went down on the guy on the ground, so I don't know how you wouldn't call that a penalty.
Maybe materiality because that player was able to get up to his feet.
You're so mean, Tim.
I am.
Alright.
The actions of the arriving player were different in the second one than the first one, in terms of
I think
the
the
guy
Robert
who's got to
players
his
in the
feet
first
now
one was
that's
significantly technically better, and they had huge opportunity to use the ball and go. And I think the quick whistle was the wrong option.
unnecessary.
Like I said, I'm not going to fault you guys for penalizing the guy either way. It's just just another way to think of it. Did this player get to exercise his options? Somewhat. Okay, moving on.
yes,
This is number 7.
The ensuing lineup, it's Snyder on the hoist. And a wonderful leap and catch from Akora Lungani. But Dion Kareem is working hard over the ball.
Pretty weak whistle for a penalty.
A great area of contest, Jim. Lungani gets it back, but Orange on his feet.
It's a gold hammer whistle.
Within his right to compete. 2-1. Good turn.
The ensuing lineup.
main point of this, again, no tackle. So arriving players can play from any direction. And then the player on the ground, again, has 3 options. What does he do? He holds the ball. Happy with that, Kurt?
It's Snyder with the hoist.
Yes? Are you happy with this?
Leap and catch from Akora Lungani. But Dion Kareem is working hard over the ball.
A great area of contest, Jim. Lungani gets it back, but Orange on his feet. Well within his right to compete. And a 2-1. Good turn.
I can see why a referee may call that as a tackle, and then you just get confused as to the guys on the wrong side of the tackle. Certainly. Because especially if you're not right there to see him not brought to ground,
Yeah.
it'd be easy to think he's tackled.
Coming from a kick, just like those mental triggers, like it's caught from a kick, it's gone to ground. Yes?
Yeah.
Kasha? Yeah? With us? This is a little more interesting. This could probably spark some debate.
So Mark, just all on a fraction, great work by Rhino Benjamin. The veteran Sevens player, so.
Can you do that one again?
So Mark, just all on a fraction, great work by Rhino Benjamin. The veteran Sevens player, so.
No, put the button outside and just play the ball on the ground.
So we have a knock on, we have a no tackle, no tackler, law 14, player on the ground, and the player on his feet.
There's no tackle.
No tackle.
No.
He loses the ball, his knock on first.
There's a knock on.
He doesn't have the ball when he
It
goes
sure
forward.
looks like he comes from an offside position.
Well, don't worry about that.
So Mark, just all on a fraction,
There's no ruck.
great work by Rhino Benjamin.
Could he play the ball?
Well, the blue guy, yeah.
Sevens player, so.
I had this play on the ground.
What?
So the penalty was for
Playing the ball.
Playing the ball on
Yeah.
the ground.
Playing the ball on the ground.
By whom?
By the blue scrum half.
Didn't he knock it back?
No.
No.
He knocked it on.
No, it was a knock on.
So Mark,
Oops. That was
so Mark,
It's a great tackle.
Now
Now he's on the ground.
That looks backwards to me.
Okay, so
Doesn't really matter.
judge it as a knock, whether it was a knock, yes or
The ball's
no.
on the ground.
Yeah.
Anybody can play it. Bottom
Yeah.
line, there's no tackle.
Anyone on their feet?
No, he can go to ground and place it. Nothing wrong with that.
No, your feet are out of the game.
Yeah, he's up.
The guy can run back, dive on the ball, place it. There's no tackle. There's nothing to stop him going to ground,
If you're on the
playing the
ground-
ball.
If you're on the ground, you have to get to your feet.
The scrum half cannot do that
Why not?
because he's off his feet.
So the long kick and chase, you tell me I can't go to ground? When I go to ground and get the ball, I can't place it?
Yes,
pass
you
it?
can.
But he lost
Why
the
can't you do
ball.
the same thing here?
Because you're going to ground, he's on the ground.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he lost it or not. That's,
If he's
already on the ground.
done everything correctly and placed it, the white player should come up with it.
Oh, just on a fraction. Great work by Rainer Benjamin.
How does he not get the ball?
so he's not letting go of the ball.
Well, yeah, so the penalty actually would then, I mean, I think I see Tim's, the penalty wouldn't be playing on the ground, because he can, if the ball's near you, you can
He's
gather
holding it
place
on.
it.
ball.
Yeah, no,
It's
no
holding
issues
the
with that
ball on.
call. But there's nothing to stop him there going to ground and playing the ball.
So it's not.
Yes, there is. He's
It's
off
not
his feet.
playing the ball on the ground, it's not releasing,
Yeah.
right?
There's three options. Player must or player with the ball must immediately do one of three things: get up with the ball, pass the ball, release the ball.
Correct.
Sevens flag.
The other thing is
Gains
the knock on versus PK.
Yeah.
To mark. Oh, just on a fraction. Great work by Rainer Benjamin. The veteran. Sevens flag. Sorry.
So,
he's penalizing him for
in your view, Derek, he gave the wrong penalty.
I did say that.
He gave a penalty for playing the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
And what we're saying, what we just talked about was the penalty should have been not releasing the ball in a
I
tackle
think that's
situation.
kind. I mean, yes and no. It's same result. I think that's kind of what he was thinking.
It should be should go back to the scrum or
Well,
go with the
I think it's the
penalty.
same result,
Main
but I
point of
think for our
this-
discussion
Main point of this, though,
important
is between the scrum and the PK, and this sparked some debate at the Western Province meeting where we watched this all together. And the point, it was basically like a discussion, and then it was like, what does Jonathan Kaplan think? So it was all this discussion, and then they went to Jonathan, and Jonathan made this point. He goes, if you want to be average, if you want to tick the box, then you'll give a knock on. But if you want to give the players what they deserve, you'll give a PK.
because he let them play on.
Because
To mark. Oh,
the
just
negative
on a-
action, this player's on his feet, clearly has that ball. They're like these players are a good meter away. How does he not get that ball?
Fraction. Great work by Rainer Benjamin. The veteran. Sevens flag. Sorry.
I'm not exactly sure what he said, but that motion.
Yeah, so he gave it for hands or play on the ground.
Isn't there, I mean, doesn't it specifically say in the law book that if you are on the ground, you can't play the ball? Like, I know it says if you're on the
Yeah,
ground,
that
you can't
confused
tackle.
me when you said you can gather it and play it.
Yes, but this is one of those things that's in the law book.
He's not
But
tackle.
the way that we play the game is different than what the law book's
He's
going
not-
to say.
well-
If I'm on the ground and nobody's touched me and I just fell over and the ball's there, I can grab it and place it to my own team.
Really?
None of us
No,
would
I
ever
would
call that.
I would penalize you
What?
if you're taking away an advantage from someone.
There's no one there.
I'm saying not in a knock-on situation, that's something else. If the ball is on the ground near me and I am on the ground and I grab it and I place it to my side, we would likely not penalize that unless I was preventing someone from picking it up.
Okay.
So just in the flow of play,
Yeah.
you're not going to, just because I was on the ground and I touched the ball, it's not an immediate penalty against that person. I think
Chris
it's what.
running after the ball and he slips, but the ball's right there anyway. And he grabs it and does that.
But in
No
this
one's gonna
scenario,
call
there
that.
was someone there.
But if you get tackled to ground, so if he was tackled or whatever else, and he's now lying there and play runs all around and he never gets back to his feet, he can then not tackle or play the ball
So,
in law.
so say that I get just tackled
Pretty
and I
much what
fumble
just
it.
happened here.
Yeah.
Well, you can get
No, he
tackled.
wasn't
He's
tackled.
not tackled.
He's on a ball.
No, this is a different scenario for Ray.
If he got tackled, the ball went backwards, he would have been fine up to the point where he didn't release it. If the ball went backwards in that tackle and dropped to the ground.
He wouldn't tackle.
Yeah, if the ball went backwards in collision, and then he gathered the ball on the ground and placed it, he would have been fine. Until then, he wasn't releasing it. Is that?
No, I think if he's on his ground and the white's on his feet, and he prevents white from getting access to the ball, because
not
white is king because he's on his feet, then I'm still gonna do blue 9
But I think that's
That's
not
your description, it's not
releasing.
releasing.
Yes, I think that's the difference, which is, so I think high school girls games, if you, like they're just on the ground and like the ball's there and someone just grabs it and places it back, you're not gonna penalize them just because they kept the game moving. Now, if somebody's there to, to gather the ball and they're preventing that, that's different, but I think I think it's a bit pedantic to say anybody who's on the ground is never allowed to touch the ball with any part of their body, ever. That's a pretty harsh, pedantic thing to think. And we likely should referee that way, right?
Okay, Kurt's just saying don't reach that conclusion, right? You're just saying don't reach the conclusion from this clip of if you're on the ground, you just can't touch the ball.
Yes.
So, okay, but I mean, this looks wrong, right? And to me, this doesn't look wrong because once he's brought the ball back to his side, he's holding it there. It looks wrong to me that like this guy is on the ground, blue. A white player is on their feet, about to get the ball, and this guy just kind of reaches in and grabs it and puts it someplace.
There is somebody trying to play it.
Yes.
He's just saying don't reach the final conclusion.
That's what he's saying. He doesn't understand why it's not a penalty for playing it on the ground.
Yeah.
Is that
I
what
don't want to speak for. The reason I was confused when I was standing over here was like I saw exactly what happened there, and I'm like, that guy can't touch the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
he's off his feet.
I think
He
this
took
is
it
where-
away from 8, and then over here I'm hearing.
And I might be explaining this poorly. I think this is where we let things like that go to facilitate a game. Because there's not an immediate person there who is right over the ball to grab it.
Not
Blue
things
guys
like
have it
that,
and place
but
it.
scenarios where you're alone.
So we're not talking about this now?
Same
No,
scenario
no,
as the guy's
it's not
chasing
wrong
the ball
because
down
he's
the
on the
field.
ground. It's wrong because he's on the ground and there's a player there trying to play it.
Yeah, but it's the
Okay.
same. It's the same
Okay.
exact.
I like that.
I think we both heard
Yeah.
over here that was okay, and then we're like,
But
wait, what?
isn't the same situation as the guy running down the field? There's a guy chasing him. He falls on the ball.
Different to me.
Different. Well,
No, but not different. He's off his
Exactly the
feet.
same.
No issues with
Yeah, no, he's off his
Dave,
feet.
because
and
he's
he plays
he's
the ball.
going to ground. He's not already on the ground. He's going to ground to
the guy
pop back up to
slides
get
into
it.
the ball. The guy slides into the ball, you know, because it's wet or whatever. And I mean,
This is a Monty's
That's
presentation.
allowed.
And I'm not looking for a black and white answer. I thought I heard over here.
He's on his feet. He's going down to kick it and get back up and do something positive with
Wait,
it.
that's what-
This guy's off his feet, gathering it, do something negative
So what's
with
the
it.
conclusion? I mean, not the not releasing part. The guy loses the ball, whether it's forward or not, whatever. He can take it in that situation and place it to his own team, and that's okay.
As long as it doesn't interfere with play.
But it did interfere with play.
So
There
then
was-
In this
penalize him.
situation, it did.
yeah, I'm
Right?
talking about this situation. What's the
I would argue
conclusion
in
for
this situation, it didn't.
Because you guys are doing
The
whole-
grabbing of the ball and placing of the ball didn't interfere with play. Him not releasing it then once he did that did interfere with play.
gonna say,
That's my
The white player is ready to
Okay, so Kasha's question is: there's no white player within 10 feet of this guy.
No, that's not.
Can he?
Yeah.
No.
That's not what. All right, in this situation, let's disregard the fact that he didn't release the ball afterwards. Let's just say
We
he
played it,
released it. He got tackled, lost the ball, reached for the ball, and placed it. But there was a white guy running on. He
Correct.
interfered from the white team being able to pick up that ball and do their own thing.
but I
Yes.
think
Why
the issue-
is that not a penalty for playing the ball on the ground?
Is.
So that, it is okay. That's what I'm saying. Because
Yeah,
there's
but I
like three
think
different.
the one kind of caveat here is that he wasn't tackled, so there was no tackle.
But that doesn't matter. He's off his feet.
Okay.
Okay.
I strongly contend that you're wrong.
Okay.
Derek, we play it again real quick. And are you able to pause it?
So Mark,
Pause it. So there's no white player there ready to play the ball.
It's
Although,
coming.
hang on.
He's right there.
Who's this guy?
What are you talking about?
Just listen.
Pretend there's no white, right?
No. I'm not saying pretend. That guy is moving away from the ball. Watch how quickly this happens to where he can grab it, and the white player is nowhere near grabbing the ball with his hands. He's near the area, and so are some blue players. He has time right down. Now he grabbed it and placed it, and now the white
These guys
player.
are nowhere near
Just
getting to
listen.
that.
Just listen. The white player is now able to play the ball, and now he's not releasing it. That's a different thing.
Well, yeah, I'm saying pretend that he
He
didn't do
hasn't
that,
been
just
tackled.
to isolate
He
the
hasn't-
tackle.
he's allowed to play the ball on the ground because he hasn't been tackled.
Right.
That's really
It's in the law book.
That's the point. That we're,
Oh,
If he's been tackled, a tackle has occurred, not in this situation, but if a tackle has occurred, then he must get to his feet before he plays the ball.
Right,
The
but
point of this is there's no tackle.
correct.
He's able to do that. The penalty isn't for playing the ball on the ground, it's for holding on to the ball.
okay, so we just.
I understand that's the penalty. I'm asking what he did, placing it, just isolate
fine.
that one action.
Oh, okay, so that's fine.
Because
That's-
So we already
that's good.
answered that.
That's fine.
Okay, I apologize.
So
I got
let's
that
go.
wrong.
Yeah.
we just like repeat the same thing
We
like
did.
3 or 4 times.
We just had to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's still it's incredible.
There's a lot. Listen, there's a lot to talk about these things. I think it's good to talk through them.
Absolutely.
getting interesting. Let's go back and look. Can we watch the falling on the players again? All right.
Over the shoulder and round the back, and it's Jane carrying well. So Eleni getting back, but Jane wasn't whole. Held there, in goes Smith, and England spoiled.
That's really bad camera.
Owen Farrell was in there.
Bad camera work.
I saw that. Here comes the ball.
Off the feet, off the feet.
Great break from Cody Jane. There's the technique there. It's from Englishman getting off the skate in the tackle area. 5 meters out. That's a yellow card.
Can you play it again?
Yeah,
Darren?
play that again.
It's a tough one to see.
All right. So tackle,
No.
tackler, no. Arriving player, off the feet. Does he fall on the player on the ground?
Yeah, over the shoulder and round the back.
Where's he playing the ball?
Jane carrying well. So Eleni getting back, but Jane wasn't whole. Held there, in goes Smith, and England spoiled.
We're talking about the 10, Farrell.
Owen Farrell was in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Farrell.
Was the penalty for the guy who tackled the player while he was off his feet?
No, it's for Owen
For
Farrell.
Owen Farrell, number
falling
10.
over.
Yeah, I don't
Really?
didn't see that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Tuolagi's fine because he hasn't made it. He can tackle that player, but he hasn't made a tackle. Like
Yeah, no, I just
he
didn't know what
hasn't.
he
I
get.
mean, he hasn't like. He didn't bring that player to ground.
10.
I think he's
10
just
white.
following and maybe hit him with his arms. I wouldn't call what Tuolagi did illegal.
Well, I must say, great break from Cody Jane. There's the technique.
Breathing a little heavy.
So, we walk us through it?
Yeah,
There's from Englishman getting off his feet.
Try and stop it when Tuolagi tackles.
That's a yellow card.
Yeah, over the shoulder and round the back, and it's Jane carrying well.
Okay. So that's the first no tackle.
Why?
Tuolagi staying on the ground. I guess you can't see the mouse, but yeah.
You can see his ass though.
Stays on the ground.
That's back to his feet.
That's just kind of.
13's on his feet.
Well, it doesn't matter.
So Eleni getting back.
Oh, you're thinking 13 should be penalized for
Yeah.
tackling off his feet.
Yeah, because he did a top tackle and then got back to
So-
his feet before he retackled. I don't know what I'd ever call it. But.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Well,
hard.
that's not what he called.
Flow of play.
No, and that's what I understand. That's not what he called. But
Yeah.
that's what I saw.
So
So I'm,
we have a no tackle situation, and then we have Owen Farrell coming through.
What number's Owen Farrell?
10 white.
Number 10.
But Jane wasn't whole.
Okay, so now he's back
There's no rock.
No
onside,
ruck.
No run.
through the gate.
He's coming
No
through
tackle,
the
no ruck, no
There's no
nothing.
gate because there's no tackle.
Oh, we're not counting the second one as a tackle either.
It's not
No.
a tackle.
Okay.
Held there, in goes Smith, and England spoiled.
So it's the wrong call. Off his feet.
Well,
The point
the fact
is,
that there
off
was
the
a
feet at
call
what? Like
is
if
the
you
wrong
remove the
call.
player on the ground, it's just open play, and you have the
Yes. He
All
should-
Black scrum half just picking the ball up
he
from the
should-
ground. So what?
It should have been playing on.
What do you have?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that goes.
Farrell was in.
That goes back to Tim's point. You can go to ground and place the ball, right? If you're not held, not tackled, not anything. If the ball's on the ground, you go to ground, you take it, you place it back.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right?
that doesn't mean there's a gate.
the ball.
There is
Just
no
'cause you do
gate.
that doesn't mean there's a gate.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a gate because there's not a tackle.
He plays the ball was out.
There's a
I
guy
can see why
called.
that ref called that because he thought he was tackled the second time.
off the feet.
Well,
I must
he-
say, great break.
That's basically what it is. He didn't know what phase he was in. He didn't know what it was.
Whether he was open play or tackle.
Open play,
Yeah.
tackle, ruck. What was it?
Can you play
Okay,
one
so
last time?
Cody Jane.
yeah,
There's the technique
this
there.
goes into your off-season fitness program, guys. Is to get there and be not owed to depth to see this, recognize it, and carry on.
And round the back, and it's Jane carrying well. So Eleni getting back, but Jane wasn't whole. Held there, in goes Smith, and England spoiled. Illegally.
He even said that's okay, and then
Yeah, Derek, I have a question. So, is he? Do you think that the All Black scrum half is picking that ball up, or do you think it's on the ground when Owen Farrell?
I think he
comes
picks it up.
Oh, he had it out.
in? You think he picks it up? So if it's on the,
It doesn't matter really, because there's no
Well,
tackle.
well, yes, so that's my question, right? I mean, isn't it specifically prohibited in the law book, which maybe we shouldn't go by the letter of the law, but it says that you cannot fall on or over the ball and prevent a player from picking it up.
At a tackle.
I
At a tackle.
thought that was. I mean, I don't have a book on it, but I think.
Or the scrum,
Well, by
coming out
explaining
of the
that,
scrum,
what's the
coming
difference?
out of the ruck,
What's the
coming out
difference?
of the maul. That is absolutely true.
What's the difference
but in open
between
play,
retreating back and falling on the ball? What those two players have done on those kick and chases. That's the same thing. It's falling on the ball.
And it's also really tough to see. I would argue that he probably went to tackle the scrum half and ball and just ended up on the ground with the ball.
He
You know,
kind of trips. He kind of trips on the player on the ground.
you know, I'm saying, hey, if scrum half's picking up the ball and he's going to get him, cool, happy days. And even if in that process he goes to ground, but if the ball is, you know, on the ground and I'm about to pick it up and someone comes and dives in over it, I thought that was illegal.
What we're trying to think is if the scrum master's picking up and the guy swats at it, you're intentionally knocking that ball
Just
on.
think of it as if you just remove the player who's on the ground, you basically just have a ball on the ground, open play. I mean, it's what it is, but if you just remove that player, then it's a little clearer. So like, there's a.
It's because when you really think about it, most of the time it's a tackle.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time it's a tackle.
Clancy says it's okay, and then probably gets influenced by the All Blacks a little bit.
Again, like this is really high-paced stuff, and you know, shit happens. Like, it's probably not surprising that you miss it because it's moving pretty quickly. But the point is just what phase are you in?
England spoiled.
And he falls over the ball, and he does what he's supposed to do immediately, places the ball, and then the other England player picks it up, and they're off and going. So nothing wrong with that.
I feel like you did say it's okay, and I feel like because they got such quick ball going the other way, that's why I call that penalty. It's kind of a.
Well, he says it's okay, and it's funny. Like if you watch this with the New Zealand commentators, they're like, "How is that okay?" And then they bring it back. So yeah. What?
So I don't know. I feel like if you look at Law 14, ball on the ground, no tackle. 14(1)(c). The player without the ball must not lie on, over, or near the ball to prevent opponents getting possession of it. So are we saying that because he's diving onto the ball, that's not in violation?
I think he's trying to tackle him. He trips over the player.
Yeah, okay, but if we go back to something that's different, the ball is on the ground.
Let's go hypothetical now.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I want to have a discussion about things that we're seeing in related things. Well, and what I would maybe say, I don't know, maybe
I'm
the
sure this
best one
happens in
is
high school
that,
games all the time.
is that maybe that player has the ball, right? I mean, I think that when you're going back to chase a kick, I think the goal isn't to hit the ground necessarily and slide onto it, right? It's to get the ball and then go to ground and then get back up.
Rarely does that happen. He usually goes to ground, and in theory, according to that law, he's like preventing the other team from
No, I
playing the
think
ball.
what that law says is that you cannot lay on the ball or otherwise and everything else. And just like I think Derek said, high school matches, the ruck disintegrates and someone from the opposite side dives down, grabs the ball, and sets to their own team, which is likely okay as long as they've done that and not just laid on the ball and prevented then play. And I think that's the difference is you're allowed to then get to the ball and play it immediately.
If you
But then,
play, you
yeah,
can't
but
lie,
then
you can't just
you
kill
can't just
it.
dive on it and kill it, and that's the difference. And I think same thing with this one. If he was just to dive on it and kill it, and then nobody could play it,
Like immediate. What
and,
it says
and
on
you have to let it.
immediate.
High school rucks disintegrate. Someone dives on the ball, plays it. Their line picks up and go. Thank you. You finally got something going here. That's good stuff. We shouldn't be upset at you.
Totally there was released from getting off his feet in the tackle area. 5 metres out.
Hold
That's a
on,
yellow
pause.
card.
Steve, you okay?
Yeah.
One more time.
I mean, the clip I think is fine. I don't have any concerns with the clip. I think it's generally like ball on the ground and players on the ground that I'm apparently confused about.
Just think though, tackle, ruck, maul, scrum, diving the ball at the back of those is technically legal, while Kurt's being
Illegal or legal?
illegal.
Illegal.
Being immaterial, or trying to be immaterial, saying it's high school, we want to try and get the ball produced. So is it being positive? But it's
Be
a very
careful
fine
of that.
line.
Be careful of that.
Yeah, right. It's all between getting the game moving and then
Yes.
what is the law. And I think that's where
Continuity versus
Just
contest.
know, when you're enforcing that, understand what the law is and what it's trying to do, and if in that situation we get a positive action out of it and we can move on,
It's probably
and if you're happy with it, then keep going. But know what the law is and know what that guy is not allowed to do and what he is allowed to do. Then use your own judgment. So, I mean, it's all gray area. Unless you're falling on
I
the
might argue that
ground
you're looking
like
for a result, which is the ball being played. And
Well,
I think
I think if that's your criteria, if someone's standing over the ball about to play it and someone comes in and dives on it, that you've gotten away from that.
And I'd have no problem if that's the way that you read the situation. I don't think I'd have any problem with that as a, if I was helping you out or coaching you or evaluating. I think I'd say probably definitely.
Okay, so I think what Kurt's, like, the continuity of the ball back into play is a great thing without taking away the contest of both teams for a fair fight at it. Right? Is everyone happy with that?
It's still time if they want to maybe set up that fourth tonight. Ben Smith though can't get away. He wasn't held in the tackle of Amorosino. And here they come again through Reed. Awkward position, oh, a lovely sleight of hand and a brilliant pass. Oh, well, that was forward. Oh, Sabia was almost away. Lovely trickery there from Taura Kerballo, but the pass edged forward.
Distinctly remember you, Justin, doing things like that as we see Ben Smith. The ground, he's taking the ground very quick, releases the ball up to his feet. Very nice piece of play. To see here, I'm pretty sure you played into that, didn't you, Justin?
That's right, Jeff.
So was that clip there because there was or was not a tackle on that first?
There was a tackle.
But
There's a tackler. He releases.
But it wasn't.
Tackle player releases. He gets up.
He doesn't release the ball.
That's like the perfect.
The tackle player released?
That's the perfect way to do it.
The tackle player released the ball?
It's a contrast play. To maybe set up that fourth tonight.
There's your tackle.
He does. He does. You can't see it, but he does. He drops, he pushes himself up and picks the ball up.
Example of.
And here they come again. Awkward position, oh, a lovely sleight of hand and a brilliant pass. Oh, well, that was forward.
If you look, he is held. Well, yeah.
The commentators.
If you look at this arm,
The commentators are saying that he wasn't held.
Yeah.
He was held, but if you look at the replay, it really doesn't even matter because he does everything correctly.
yeah, he pushes off the ground
A
and
lot of
gets the
times
ball.
you see that you might give a knock on in certain scenarios.
I'm gonna say he's moving.
Might.
His body's moving forward, and
And
he
you
released
might.
it and regathered it at the same place where his hand was. The ball had to be moving forward.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Distinctly remember you, Justin, doing things like that as we see Ben Smith.
Tackled, held, released, got up to his feet, picked up the ball.
Nice piece of play. To see here, I'm pretty sure.
What kind of game do you referee, man? It's positive, and then you want to penalize that? Like, you're all over the place, man.
The ball's moving forward.
No,
You're killing me,
That's-
Beaver.
that's
It's
come on,
WPL women
that's
love you.
tough. That is tough.
If you're lucky enough to have actually spotted the fact that he released and picked it back up, that's positive play on.
Yeah,
I've
that's,
called that when they release it, calling a knock on. You will get booed off the park.
Yeah.
Like
that'll be your last Argentina-New Zealand game.
I've called it, and you feel like an idiot afterwards.
Argentina, New Zealand track meet.
Whatever. I'd take it. I'd take it and not call a knock on.
Laser to the eyes in Argentina.
What do you want to call it? A knock on? Or
Penalize him.
And a card. At least it's at least a red. Only a red, right?
Yeah.
Only a red, clever. Only a red, right?
Here they come again through Reed. Awkward position, or a lovely sleight of hand and a brilliant pass away. That was forward.
That's not forward, but a knock on you're going to.
Killing me here, Wayne.
That's lateral at best. The knock on, oh my god. Egregious.
Flat pass.
Egregious.
Distinctly remember you, Justin, doing things like that as we see
Alright, let's move on. Alright.
That's it.
He's taking a very quick release as the ball.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Derek.
Nicely done.
Real cool.
Can you see the
Well,
end
it's
of the
either
table?
that or throw it into space, so
Way to be cautious.
Wow, way to be a team player there.
10 burpees, Pasha.
I try.
Just remember, it's okay, burpees hate you too.
Derek, can you get the lights, please?
Yeah, and I'm behind them.
So Summers, how did our discussion shape up compared to Mateys?
I'm starting to wonder if we're gonna rename you
No one
Brad
talks.
Z.
No one talked there?
No one knows who that
Very
is, John.
little.
Really?
Probably true.
We did not. It was not.
Is it because John and Cal was in the room? They're all too
No,
scared
it
to.
wasn't Jonathan Kaplan.
Were those clips from the Stellenbosch thing?
Most of them, yeah. These are all up on essay referees with explanations and why something was called and something was not. So
Would you put that link on the notes when you write them up,
Yeah.
Charlie?
we'll do that.
Derek, will you send me
I'll
that
send
link
you
and
the
I'll
links.
I'll put it in the minutes.
That was interesting. We could do that every month
That's the goal.
Yeah, we could do that. It's
with quirks.
more useful.
With quirks.
What do you mean?
February, Tim will put together a presentation. Gotta be more involved. You're one of the guys that are involved.
Charlie, what's next?
What's on the agenda?
Well, I was gonna go
meeting.
through some of
Next
the
meeting?
December meeting stuff, but,
We got time.
we're off schedule, so. I guess,
Well, is there like anything important we need to?
no, I was just going to quiz people if they were considering on running for office.
Is anyone considered running on office? Raise
I
your
know
hands.
Ryan is.
What
He's-
offices are up for election?
All of them.
All of them.
All three of them.
Chair-
Madam Secretary,
Chair,
Treasurer, and-
Secretary,
Youth
and
Development
Treasurer.
Officer at USA Rugby.
That's director.
Someone else is
Director. So Ryan and Gary.
Gary's
Treasurer.
running as a dual platform with Gilligan, so we're gonna run as a pair.
For match secretary?
No, chairman. Of course, not secretary.
Civil unions.
Wow, really?
It is legal here now.
So,
Matt secretary, chairman.
Okay.
Is that allowed by the bylaws?
Sure.
Have two people share a position?
I don't
No,
know.
you get one vote.
We only get one vote.
As a function of the survey results, is there a new position?
Don't.
To create a new position, we would have to totally rewrite our bylaws.
Well, no, we'd have to add a
It
second.
Well,
didn't
no,
seem
that's
like-
Yeah, I was gonna say, you don't have to rehash
That's
the
not
whole thing.
exactly
No,
true.
exactly.
Amendment.
Yeah, they get.
I mean,
There, in the bylaws, there are the RDO positions,
Right, but it's not an elected.
but it wouldn't take that much to make it an elected position.
well, I don't know that anyone's planning on running for that,
If we-
so it'd be more of like
then
an
you have to
appointed
have
thing.
a fifth position, because you've always gotta have an odd number, you face a tie.
Well, when you have two match secretaries.
They get one vote between them.
So you're gonna
And-
agree with
and-
Gilligan all the time?
From the survey,
I'd love to be a fly on the wall of that.
from
Guys,
the survey, they were saying, create a vice chair.
Yeah, but that could be an appointed position.
Could be. The bylaws allow that.
Yeah.
Is there a copy of the bylaws floating around?
No.
Not for you,
yes.
Stu.
Yeah, but I
Not for
think it
you.
was on a typewriter.
No, it wasn't.
Dot matrix?
If you want, I can send them,
No dispute there.
I'll send out the bylaws with the minutes.
I mean,
I think it would be good to
Is that
have
what
that
you
at
used to
least
call those?
as a reference point, if we're gonna be referencing then the bylaws for the next meeting, it'd be good to then have those beforehand. As well, job descriptions for the positions might be
And
good.
the job
that-
descriptions are in
Right, in
the
the
bylaw.
okay, so, yeah, that must,
So-
and but if there's appointed, if RDO or recruitment or something else is also being sought after.
That's,
Well, the only thing we really elect is the three, and then we
Appointed.
appoint, and it's more of like, can you want to? Yeah, you're
You're
appointed.
it.
So.
Stu, you know something about computers? You're a technologist.
Everything seems to pretty much get done the way it is. Unless
Well, Some things are falling through the cracks.
I think that's
Mark, that's not a function of
That's all.
It's a function of we've got to get the right people in the right jobs and identify the right jobs.
Okay,
And then,
you're right. I think so. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Okay.
opinion, but
Okay.
So, and the other thing is that we do create or talk about and vote on policy, like whatever the due structure is gonna be, what is the invoices to the clubs and things like that. So-
reimbursement.
So, think about that. I mean, last year we went and did an ad hoc committee to come up what the fee structure was, and we probably need to vote on that as a budgetary item, so we'll be thinking about that. If there's any other policies that you feel strongly that we should bring out and talk and discuss and vote on, let me know.
Will the fees to CYR be discussed, or Rugby Colorado be discussed?
No, they're already. We have a 3-year
Well,
agreement.
yeah.
We're in year 3.
Yeah, we're on year 3, so it's $75 a game.
No,
65. No, it'll
Third
be
year
65.
75.
It was 45, 55, 65 was a 3-year agreement.
45, 55, 65, 75, by the discussion that we had.
Is that a 4-year agreement?
Yeah.
Well, we're on year 2.
Going up all the way till we matched with what we were billing the clubs at that time, which was 75. Was what the discussion was that we had, Joe.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're in year 3 of it then?
Well,
We will be.
we will be.
In January.
It'll be.
I think it'd be good to have a discussion, because I think it's one issue to talk to the clubs about what we bill them. I think it's a different issue to talk among us about what we do. If they pay 75, how much goes to a referee and how much goes to other things. I think that's a good discussion to have internally with us, because we control that part.
Correct.
Yeah, we did that last year.
But we can have that discussion again. So, okay. So I put it in your mind, just think about that, come for December. If there's a very hot topic that you want put on the agenda, email me and I will do so. So,
Bring someone who's not here tonight.
Next one's back at Glendale.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
And I'm gonna try and do
Attendance as possible.
a hangout or something. We gotta figure something out for people who just will not make it.
A simple majority.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do we have?
What's our membership?
So I have.
Because I know we had that issue before, and then we had to vote by phone.
Can you
Go
go to meeting?
So I'd like to know in advance if we're not gonna have that number.
And Mark,
Text in.
Or Google,
Excuse me.
you can see them, so it's there.
Well, you were. Who's been on the opposite end of a Google Hangout besides Kurt?
Me and my birds.
How?
You've been on a Google Hangout.
The full WebEx would work better.
So
What you did last year worked for last year's.
the Google Hang was that a Google Hangout last
Yes.
year?
It worked really well.
WebEx
Yeah,
is
because
a
I
USA
was
Rugby
I
is
wasn't
doing
there. I was
training
out of
about that.
If we could get everybody.
Can you do that?
I was in San Francisco.
Does
at a
USA Rugby on
conference, so
WebEx?
I really couldn't.
Okay, hold on, guys, hold on.
Wait a minute. So the discussion is to have a virtual meeting?
No, no.
No,
No.
for people that can't make it.
For people that will absolutely not going to make it anyway, like
The guys on the west
Wyoming.
slope.
Chris Capetta.
Chris Capetta or
or whoever, like guys are not going to come. Like John Lawson potentially will not anyway. I still want John Lawson to be a part of it. So again, I don't want you not to come because we're doing a WebEx.
Should we offer pizza or something in the meeting to try and encourage people to come?
What's the number we have to reach? What's our quorum?
Is that paleo?
I don't know.
what's the paid membership?
Alright, you had me. You got me, Tim.
Roughly.
Man, we have like 50 people. I'm paying for stuff.
We're gonna probably need 25
Well, then you need 26 people
I'm
there.
coming straight from there.
I'd like
We
to
have
make,
50.
I'd like to make a motion then that we make it sort of a potluck Christmas gathering.
Everyone bring cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a social thing and a business thing all
Free
in one.
fuckers.
Yeah. Each bring a dish.
I agree.
Goes down.
Yeah, it's good idea. Food fight. First suggestion, I agree.
Do they not feed you here?
No. So
what
I
you're
have a
saying.
vote. Okay.
Wait for what? Food?
Society will provide beer, or everyone bring your own.
Sure. For the
Sure.
Are we allowed to bring beer to?
Yeah.
You can bring a couple cases, and we all bring some food.
That'll make the meeting go
None
real
of
well.
us dirty.
Yeah.
Mark will bring all the
But that's
junk left
encouraging
over.
people to come.
Right, so,
Who has stuff left over? Did you drink all that?
Drink all what?
All the stuff from Aspen.
Oh, what's
Oh, what?
You did not
okay,
leave it all
it's
there.
been moved-
all day.
Point of order.
Sorry.
Point of order. So it's been moved and seconded that we make the December meeting in addition to a business meeting to have a Christmas potluck social gathering.
Yes.
Any further discussion? All those in favor,
You're not gonna
signify.
show up. I don't know.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right. Okay, very good. All right, we'll do
$20
that.
says Weaver's not there. Oh, I'm in,
No, he'll email back in at the last
Ohio
second.
or
All right, I'll put that in the minutes and put it out on the agenda as well, so, that's really all I had for tonight. Do I hear a motion to adjourn, or do you have?
I just had a quick thing. So we had an instance with a high school state tournament game in Oregon this past weekend. I just wanted to bring it up as a quick example. It was a girls' high school sevens game of state championships. A team scored. It was in the second half. The team scored, and they were down by just like 3 points. The other team, for some reason, after the conversion kick, ran back to the same side of the field that the team was kicking from. They basically switched sides, kind of a loser's walk mentality. And the kicking team was on the 50, facing their try zone, and the other team was behind them, set up, ready to receive a kick. The kicking team realized what had happened, kicked off, picked it up, went down and scored. And the referee let it happen, and upon reflection after the game with the administration of the state, he said, I'm not even allowed to say anything to those players if I wanted to, and it's their fault, and, they lost the game on their own. So I guess I just wanted to bring that up as a well, as a thought, if that was you in that situation, what might you do as a referee? And certainly, the answer hopefully would not be from any of us to just say, there's nothing I'm not allowed to do anything about that.
I'm not allowed to coach. Is that what he's trying to say?
I'm not allowed to tell those players they're on the wrong side of the field. That was his contention. So
He could have held that kick up.
Right, and I
Yeah.
think in law it says
In
the
the
players must
spirit
be
of
at the
it.
40 or behind, or it's a re-kick. So, just something to think about as
Well,
an
in
instance
sevens it'd
as
be
to
a
what we
free
do,
kick.
crazy things that we see, right? And
Would it not?
things you never thought you'd see before or again.
Every
but-
kick up in freshman?
So the answer is, ask Brighton what the score is.
Hey, Gary.
In the spirit of the game, stop it and let him get on the route.
Depends on what kind of referee you want to be and how far you want to go. If you want to be
I
done,
think that's a good one. You want
You're
to
going
be
to end your career right there.
to make it known to the zone manager who that guy was. It's,
Those end up being appointed to the high school finals this weekend. That on mind.
right. Strange stuff happens, right? We just want to be equity before law, right?
Gosh, are you doing the game in the Air Force this weekend?
We're just no law at all.
Consider
Done.
yourself confirmed. Either
Done?
11 or 1, we don't know.
Is there anything else?
anything else, guys, real quick?
Anything else?
Email me before Sunday.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Or Wednesday.
Oh, it's
yes.
fine. Just
All in
anytime.
favor?